All attendees have been muted to minimize background noise. If you have a question during the presentation, please type it into the chat box on the upper right-hand side of your screen. We will have a dedicated time to answer questions at the end of the presentation. Now, I'd like to introduce our speaker for today, Tara O'Hare with EPA's WaterSense program. Tara currently serves as the Implementation and Commercial Outreach Lead for WaterSense. She is responsible for program operations, partner support, and outreach to commercial and institutional facilities. Tara is currently managing the Hotel Challenge and was responsible for the release of WaterSense's commercial and institutional best management practices guidebook, WaterSense at Work. Welcome, Tara.
Thank you, Christine, and a warm welcome to all of you joining us today. First up on the agenda today, I'll provide a brief overview of the WaterSense program. Next, I'll cover the basics of the Hotel Challenge, and then I'll outline all of the tools we have available to participants of the challenge, including both tools to inform guests of your participation, as well as technical tools to help identify water savings opportunities. Finally, we'll discuss our plans for the Hotel Challenge in 2015 and then open the floor for questions. So first, we're going to get started with a poll to determine your current relationship to the challenge and how much you have been participating so far, whether that's as a hotel or as a recruiter. So if you could just take a moment to answer the poll, we'd appreciate it. All right, that's excellent. Well, I'm glad that you are planning to, at least most of you, and for those of you that don't know, that's the purpose of today's webinar, so I'm hoping that will give you some more clarifications on that. So to start things off, I wanted to draw your attention to ongoing droughts that are occurring throughout the U.S. Many of you have probably heard in the news that water scarcity and drought are happening in various places during the year at any given time. These maps were taken from the drought.gov website, which is maintained by the National Drought Mitigation Center and are updated every week. As you can see from these maps, the darker colors indicate an area where there is a stronger or more dire drought conditions. Right now, obviously the area that's in the headlines with the worst drought is California, but earlier maps show that drought has hit several areas of the U.S. in years past. These droughts and water shortages are now a reality rather than an exception, especially as climate change increases the uncertainty of weather events and the risks of water shortages. In fact, according to a Government Accountability Office report published in May of 2014 on freshwater availability, 40 states expect to see water shortages in the next 10 years. So now I wanted to go over some of the market trends related to the hotel industry. Basically, we've seen a shift in consumer choices, and that has been happening on the internet, which has obviously become the point of decision-making for many people when they're looking to find places to stay for traveling. Many travelers have high expectations for technology and sustainability in places that they stay. So many of them are looking for these newer amenities, and they're looking for the ethic of environmental and social responsibility when they are choosing a place to stay so that they can live the same way that they do at home. As a result, many hotel brands are creating lifestyle brands that are becoming more popular because these demographics of travelers have changed. And actually, according to a recent survey by TripAdvisor, 79% of travelers place importance on finding eco-friendly accommodations. With this increasing competition online where people are booking their hotel reservations, customers focus more on consumer reviews and other information that they can easily obtain online. Systems and certifications like LEED, TripAdvisor Green Leaders, Green Key Global, and Green Globes can provide some verifiable sustainability information to help consumers make smart choices when they're planning trips while holding these companies accountable for their commitments at the same time through their reviews. So in addition to meeting the demand for sustainable lodging options, many hotels are trying to save water and energy for other reasons. In general, as we know, reducing water use also reduces operating costs by lowering utility costs. Many hotels are reducing water use to be proactive in the face of increasing uncertainty. Many hotels and other businesses use projected costs, to evaluate and plan potential projects like building renovations and other improvements. Nationally, water and sewer rates have been rising at a rate much faster than inflation and can vary depending on local conditions. This is continuing to be a trend across the country, and it makes it very difficult for hotels to plan for their future because they can't project their future costs if the utility rates are varying so widely. Using water efficiently as possible will help the hotels better control their utility costs and mitigate the risks of higher bills down the road. Becoming more water and energy efficient also allows hotels to be proactive and ready to act when water shortages trigger restrictions on water use, such as outdoor watering restrictions. Properly managing water and energy use can allow hotels to maintain the same quality guest experience regardless of changes in local conditions or issues with water scarcity. The other aspect of water savings that's important is also to save the operational costs to maximize the profit margins. Saving water also saves energy in many places, which can really maximize efficiency savings and the project's payback. Because hot water takes energy to heat, many efficiencies can be gained by reducing hot water use wherever possible. A simple example of this is that significant water and energy savings can be achieved through showerhead and faucet retrofits, where using WaterSense Label fixtures can reduce water by 20% while performing just as well as conventional models to give the guests the same quality experience. Considering watering and energy efficiencies together can also really offset any increases in your utility bills that result from expansions or changes in your facility usage or changes in your occupancy rate. Another point to remember is that large-scale improvement projects aren't the only way to achieve savings. Often simple changes to standard operating procedures can reduce water use without incurring any renovation or retrofit costs. So be sure to make sure all of your appliances and equipment are being operated on their most efficient settings at which they can still operate effectively. Also, small-scale retrofits and replacements for fixtures can result in significant reductions with a minimal capital cost. Lastly, one thing that we've heard anecdotally is that improving plumbing fixtures have actually reduced maintenance costs in some places. As newer plumbing fixtures tend to meet higher performance standards, customers aren't having as many difficulties with the efficient fixtures, and hotels often don't have as many rooms that are down for service. Because of these changes to consumer preferences and the variability of local conditions, hotels have many reasons to reduce water and energy use. By proactively addressing these issues and operating more sustainably, hotels can increase their competitive advantage in the hotel marketplace and meet increasing sustainability expectations at the same time. In addition to facility-level issues, many corporate entities and corporate chains of hotels have often been feeling pressure from many different stakeholders to be more sustainable. This is not only coming from customers, but also from investors and shareholders, as well as corporate-level management. In fact, many companies are also making water conservation a priority and creating specific water reduction goals for the entire corporation. So increasing the water efficiency can help hotels themselves save operating costs while helping to contribute toward these corporate goals and consumer expectations at the same time. Many large organizations, such as corporations and government entities, are also establishing environmental requirements for all of their meeting spaces for conferences and other events. Proactively managing energy and water usage can help facilities meet these environmental requirements in the contracts and space procurements, which would make it more attractive for customers seeking green venues. And finally, operating a green hotel and reducing water use is a good way to demonstrate sustainability in your community so that you're showing that you're proactive and that you're willing to help make the conditions better. So I just wanted to give a quick overview of the use of water in hotels so that you all have a sense of what an average hotel looks like. There are a number of places that you may be using and potentially wasting water at your hotel. As you can see, guest bathrooms, of course, are a great place to start because they account for approximately 30% of an average hotel's water use. This, of course, varies widely depending on occupancy rates, but it's generally one of the highest uses of water. There are a number of other opportunities for water savings depending on the hotel's amenities. Linen laundry, landscaping, commercial kitchens, and heating and cooling all account for significant water use within hotels. Significant savings can also be found in all of these areas through changes to standard operating procedures or through fixture and system retrofits and replacements. For those of you who may not be familiar with WaterSense, let me give you a brief summary of the program. WaterSense is a voluntary program EPA established in 2006. We work with a variety of partners to promote water efficiency and encourage innovation in manufacturing. Our end goal is to help organizations and consumers save water for future generations. The Watersense Label, which is displayed here on the right side of the slide, provides a simple way for consumers and businesses to identify water-efficient products, homes, and programs. More than 15,000 different models of plumbing fixtures and irrigation products have earned the Watersense label to date. All products receiving the label have been independently certified for water efficiency and performance to ensure that they perform as well or better than their conventional counterparts. In addition to labeling water-efficient products, WaterSense created a set of best management practices for commercial and institutional buildings called WaterSense at Work a few years ago, but we needed a way to get the information to our users. We decided the most effective way to promote these best practices would be to focus our target audience on one commercial sector. So in February of 2014, we launched the WaterSense Hotel Challenge to help hotels meet increasing demands for sustainability. As part of the Hotel Challenge, WaterSense asked its partners and other stakeholders to recruit hotels to sign up on WaterSense's website. By signing up, hotels agree to challenge themselves to act, assess, change, and track their water use. To help the hotels do so, WaterSense committed to providing tools, training, and tips to help participating hotels. If you haven't already done so, you can sign up on the WaterSense webpage listed on this slide. So as I said, the WaterSense Hotel Challenge encourages hotels to act or assess, change, and track their water use. The first step is to conduct a simple water assessment to identify and evaluate opportunities to reduce the hotel's water use. Next, hotels should implement some of the best management practices and make changes to fixtures and systems and processes to save water. Finally, we ask hotels to track their progress before and after making changes so they can demonstrate success. WaterSense recommends using Energy Star's Portfolio Manager tool or another utility management system which can help hotels understand how they are using and reducing water over time. WaterSense has created many technical tools and materials to help hotels take each step, which I will discuss in a few minutes. But first, let's talk about the structure and logistics of the challenge and about some of the tools and materials we've developed to recruit and recognize participating hotels. Our main goal for the challenge is to raise awareness of WaterSense and water efficiency. In doing so, we hope to increase the use of WaterSense labeled products, promote best management practices to help hotels reduce water use, and improve the quality of national water use data by encouraging hotels to track their progress in reducing water use. Our training and tools are aimed to assist facility managers in saving not only water, but energy and money as well. And through our efforts, we hope to educate hotel facility managers and employees and help them educate their guests about water efficiency and why it's important for the future. So now for some of the logistics of the challenge. Hotels sign up on the WaterSense website, which gives them access to the challenge materials and the participant logo. The hotel will then receive regular communications from WaterSense, including monthly water-saving tips, sample social media posts, case studies, and invitations to webinars on both technical and marketing topics. WaterSense utility, local government, and nonprofit partners can also choose how to engage hotels in their area to create a local challenge or give local awards if they'd like. The partners can encourage hotels by recruiting them or by actually helping them to assess their facilities. They could also do workshops or other activities with the hotels. Another great idea is to offer them some technical assistance since many of the hotels do not have the resources needed to reduce water use significantly. Also, some of the energy and water utilities have rebates, so we encourage all hotels to get in touch with their local utility to see if financial incentives are available to implement some of these projects. And then finally, our partners can decide to recognize hotels in their area if they'd like with awards and other incentives as they see fit. As you can see from the map, we've gotten some great participation from hotels and other organizations in 2014, and it continues to grow in 2015. So far, more than 830 hotels from 41 states, plus Aruba, Canada, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and Washington, D.C. have taken the WaterSense Challenge. Over 80 recruiting organizations, including 46 WaterSense partners, helped us recruit all of these participating hotels. The list of participating hotels is updated regularly and can be found on our website using the link on this slide. We developed a suite of tools and materials to help hotels promote their participation in the challenge. WaterSense has created a participant logo for hotels to use in their facility and on their website. It's on the right-hand side of this slide. Just to be clear, please note that this logo is not a building label and does not imply endorsement or certification by WaterSense or the US EPA. It is only used to indicate that the hotel is participating in the challenge. We also have a signed certificate of participation available, which can be displayed in the lobby to demonstrate the commitment of the hotel to save water. Finally, we've created sample press releases, social media postings, and promotional language for hotels to promote their participation wherever they'd like. All of these tools are emailed to the hotels who take the challenge. As I mentioned a couple of slides ago, the challenge encourages hotels to assess, change, and track their water use, or ACT. WaterSense has developed many technical tools and resources to help with each of these steps. The first step, as we mentioned, is to conduct a simple water assessment to evaluate and identify opportunities to reduce water use. WaterSense developed the Water Use and Savings Evaluation Tool, or the Water Use Tool, and associated water assessment worksheets to help hotel facility managers identify and evaluate water use throughout their facility. To help hotels make changes to these areas identified during their water assessment, WaterSense has developed a variety of tools, including the WaterSense at Work Best Management Practices, a series of technical webinars, case studies, and monthly tip emails to help. We're also recording some short presentations on each area of water use within a facility, which will be available on our website soon. To track progress before and after making changes, WaterSense recommends using Energy Star's Portfolio Manager or another utility management tool to help hotels understand how they're using and ensure that they are reducing water over time. All of these tools are available on our website for all to use. If your hotel is new to water efficiency, the best way to get started is to conduct a facility water assessment. This may sound like a daunting task. However, in order to commit the water management and identify water savings, it's best to know where you use it first. As I mentioned, WaterSense has developed an easy set of tools that will take you through the process of conducting a water assessment. These tools are the Water Use and Savings Evaluation Tool, or the Water Use Tool, and the associated water assessment worksheets. These were designed to help hotel operators and facility managers identify and prioritize cost-effective projects. What's great about the water use tool and the worksheets is that each of the tool tabs and water use areas where we ask for user inputs and identify water conservation practices are standalone, meaning that you can fill them out independently when you have time available or when you're looking for savings opportunities. Now I'm going to provide a short background on how to use the water use tool and the assessment worksheets. So the water assessment worksheets can be used just to conduct a simple water assessment or a tour or walk through your hotel. The worksheets guide the user through each part of a facility assessment and will help capture information about water using fixtures, equipment, and all of the information needed to populate the water use tool. It also provides instructions and guidance about each one of the fields that it's asking about in the tool. This slide shows a list of all of the worksheets that are available. Each section of the worksheet has a corresponding tab in the water use tool. The metering data that is collected in this process can be used with the Portfolio Manager to track water use over time. The data from the metering tab in the water use tool can be uploaded into the Portfolio Manager directly using their uploader tool. So the first worksheet covers some general facility information, including rate data and other attributes about the hotel facility. And the second worksheet assists in collecting some of that water meter and water billing data for your hotel. And the remaining 9 worksheets cover the areas of your hotel that might use water. Armed with the information gathered on the worksheets, hotels can input their facility-specific data into the water use tool, which is an Excel-based file, so it's very easy to provide the information through the worksheets and then use the tool in Excel. And it will provide some recommendations for the best management practices for each water end use area and calculate some potential water and cost savings for water saving projects. The tool estimates water use from each end use area and suggests specific best management practices to reduce water and energy, and suggests potential water efficient fixture and equipment retrofit or replacement projects. The tool can be customized to change the number and the cost of potential replacement fixtures, as well as some other specific information needed to provide you with the most accurate estimate of water, energy, and cost savings possible. The tool will also calculate an estimated payback period that can be used in decision making. Hotels can use this information to prioritize the projects that are recommended and to decide which best management practices to include in a water efficiency action plan. Updated versions of the water use tool and water assessment worksheets will be released in a few weeks. If you'd like to be notified when the newer version is available, you can type water use in the question box on the right-hand side of your screen, or you can contact our helpline later. As you're beginning to focus on water management and identifying savings projects, we encourage you to contact your local water and energy utilities because they often, as mentioned before, have rebates and incentives for efficient technologies. These rebates and incentives aren't just for product replacements. Some areas are actually providing rebates for outdoor landscape changes, as well as larger equipment changes in commercial kitchens or mechanical systems. In addition, be sure to evaluate both water and energy savings together when assessing a savings project. Because they're so closely related, the water and energy costs should be added together in the evaluation. This will provide the most accurate cost payback period and often improve the project's return on investment. In addition to the water use tool and the water assessment worksheets, WaterSense has created several other great technical resources that are available on our website. The WaterSense at Work guidebook was designed for all commercial and institutional facilities, but it can be very helpful to hotels who want more information on any of the best practices recommended by the water use tool or discussed in the webinar series. The Savings in Water fact sheet just provides an overview of the BMPs that a hotel might find useful. In addition, WaterSense created case studies to document the water, energy, and cost saving successes demonstrated by some of the commercial and institutional facilities that have implemented some of these best management practices across a variety of water end uses. Hotel-specific case studies cover education and outreach, mechanical systems, outdoor water use, sanitary fixtures and equipment, and water monitoring and management. Hotels featured include the Hyatt Regency Atlanta, the Claylock Lodge in Olympia National Park, Caesars Entertainment, and more. In addition to the best management practices, there are a variety of residential and commercial products that are eligible for the WaterSense label that can be used in hotels and other commercial facilities. The label is generally reserved for products that use at least 20% less water and perform as well or better than standard models. To date, more than 15,000 product models have earned the WaterSense label. All of them are listed here on the slide and have different commercial and residential applications. So our products currently include flushing urinals, tank-type toilets, lavatory faucets, shower heads, irrigation controllers, prevent spray valves, and soon to come is flushometer valve water closets, which have an application in commercial buildings. Since the program was launched in 2006, WaterSense label products have helped consumers save more than 1 trillion gallons of water and more than $21.7 billion in water and energy costs. In addition to these product categories, we also work very closely with Energy Star to include water factors in their specifications and to include energy savings in ours. Finally, we're happy to announce, as I mentioned, that our next commercial product specification will be released later in 2015. Flushometer valve water closets that have a flush volume at or below 1.28 gallons per flush and meet WaterSense's performance criteria will be eligible to obtain the WaterSense label. As I mentioned earlier, WaterSense released a best management practices guidebook for commercial and institutional facilities called WaterSense at Work in October of 2012 to help commercial and institutional facilities understand, manage, and reduce water use. This guidebook includes best management practices on all of these areas, including water management planning, water use monitoring and education, sanitary fixtures and equipment, commercial kitchen equipment, outdoor water use, mechanical systems, laboratory and medical equipment, and on-site alternative sources of water. Product and equipment-specific chapters in each of these main areas cover water-efficient operation and maintenance, retrofit, and replacement recommendations. WaterSense at Work also includes ideas for enhancing education and outreach in commercial and institutional facilities to promote water savings. All of the hotels that sign up for the Hotel Challenge will receive our monthly tips emails and other communications like the one that's here on our screen. The monthly emails provide tips on how to save water, case studies from successful hotels, and reminders about upcoming webinars and more. Last year, we held 7 technical and outreach webinars covering the best management practices in many of the end-use areas to help hotels get started. These webinars provide greater detail about each area of water use, as well as a case study presentation by a hotel that has implemented water-efficient practices in that area. Our Assess, Track, and Realize Payback and Demonstrating WaterSense's Water Use Tool webinars covered the basics of how to conduct a water assessment at your hotel, identify and prioritize projects, and develop a water management plan. The water use webinar is especially useful to provide a hands-on demonstration of how to use the tool and the assessment worksheets. It may be helpful to view that webinar before using the tool to assess your hotel. The Washing 101, Make a Splash, Minimize Water Use in Mechanical, and What's Cooking webinars provided operation and maintenance, retrofit, and replacement recommendations for these areas of a hotel. We covered employee and guest education and outreach in our Let's Talk webinar as well. All of these webinars were recorded and are posted on our website for future listening. We encourage hotels that weren't able to attend to listen to the recorded versions to find more information. This year, we'll also be putting on a new training webinar series for our 2015 participants. On Thursday, June 25th, we'll begin our 2015 technical training series, where we'll host one new training webinar every 2 months until the end of the year. This comprehensive webinar series will provide hotels and other commercial facilities with step-by-step approaches to assessing current water use, changing plumbing fixtures and incorporating best management practices, and tracking their ongoing water use to determine project success. The webinar content will build on each other, so we encourage hotels to attend all 4 installments if possible. You can also listen to the previously recorded topical webinars if you'd like to get a head start on any specific area of water use in the meantime. Our first session will focus on conducting a water assessment and using the water use tool. Once participants have had a chance to assess their facility, we'll discuss how to set goals and document the assessment findings into a water management plan. Once the plan is established, we'll discuss how to implement the best practices identified. And finally, we'll discuss the importance of tracking water use to determine progress and results. Each webinar will be recorded and made available on the WaterSense website for those who would like to access it later. Like last year, we'd like to feature a case study on each one of our webinars. So if you have one that you'd like to share, please let us know. We'd love to feature you. Finally, this summer we'll be launching a new WaterSense at Work Solution Center on the WaterSense website. The Solution Center will provide tools for all commercial and institutional facilities, not just hotels, to help them get started saving water. To add to the Solution Center, WaterSense is developing short, approximately 10-minute long narrated presentations to cover various best management practices. We'll also post a short water assessment checklist and links to other technical resources. All participating hotels and recruiters will be notified when the Solution Center is launched. So for those of you thinking about taking in your action in your hotel, I just wanted to emphasize that savings can be found anywhere within a facility. Savings aren't limited to major renovations or equipment retrofits. They can be found anywhere. Many changes that are small, like in the usage or operation and maintenance or in standard operating procedures, can really get a significant water and energy savings. The same is true with behavior. The use phase of a product is just as important as efficient product design. For example, a fixture can be very efficient, but it can still use a great amount of water if not used correctly. To achieve savings, users such as guests and employees should be educated on how to properly use fixtures or systems. In many cases, a sign or card at the point of use is enough to inform users of the water-saving features and to encourage users to report leaks where they see them. In other cases, employees should be trained on water-efficient operation and maintenance practices and standard operating procedures so that everything is as efficient as possible. Educated and aware employees can significantly contribute to the water efficiency and other sustainability goals of the facility. We're aware that many hotels have had a towel and linen reuse program for many years to save water and energy. So we just encourage people to use that as a starting point and to realize that they can take other steps beyond that to really save water. Another thing to realize is that you can't do everything at once. Conducting a full facility assessment and undertaking a big retrofit and replacement project may seem overwhelming, but if you approach the task in phases, you can accomplish a lot over time. It's also a good reminder that larger issues can be tackled in smaller chunks to make it more palatable and easier to finance. Finally, we encourage people to remember that there are local contacts and programs out there to help. There are WaterSense partners, water and energy utilities, local government programs, and a lot of other people out there that are willing to help. If you aren't sure who to contact, you may want to start with your utilities customer service department to find out who may be able to help. Otherwise, you can try to contact our helpline and we'll do our best to find someone. So for those of you that are looking for some quick tips, I just wanted to give you some quick wins that we found as we're talking with many of the commercial buildings that we've worked with. The first one is very simple. It's just to look for and fix the leaks that you find in your facility. Leaks can often account for a large part of hotel water use, so we encourage everyone to train their staff to look for them and report them as soon as possible so that they can be fixed. If you have a large building, we encourage facilities to evaluate their mechanical systems because, as I mentioned, these are potentially big water and energy users. This includes cooling towers, air handlers, and steam systems. Make sure you look at these systems to ensure that they're running as efficiently as expected. We also encourage people to do simple things like install WaterSense labeled tank type toilets, shower heads, guest room faucet aerators, and prevent spray valves. These retrofits and replacements typically require little investment and can make a big difference in terms of water savings. Replacing these fixtures typically has a payback of only a few months. Then finally, we encourage you to consult a professional that's been certified by a WaterSense Label program to help reduce your water in your landscape use outdoors. We have several labeled programs for water efficient irrigation specialists and landscape designers to really help with outdoor water use in your area, because it doesn't just have to be concrete or dirt. There are very beautiful appropriate plants that can be used in every type of landscape that don't use a lot of water. So finally, the last step of the process, as I mentioned, is to continue to track your water and energy use over time and monitor your performance so you can demonstrate your success. In some cases, projects don't work out as planned, or you don't achieve the savings that you expect in the beginning because of installation problems or other unforeseen factors. Tracking water use will allow you to monitor the performance of these different systems and fixtures over time to make sure that they're operating as you expect and haven't resulted in any unexpected problems. This can be done by tracking your utility bills in the Energy Star Portfolio Manager or another utility management tool like it. Portfolio Manager is a free online system that anybody can use to track their utilities. It also provides some key performance metrics and benchmarks for energy. Also, if you already have a system to track your utilities, we encourage you to continue to use it to track and monitor your usage. In summary, the bottom line of today's presentation is to encourage hotels to sign up and participate in the challenge and to get the word out that WaterSense has developed helpful tools to help reduce water and energy use and operating costs. The WaterSense Hotel Challenge gives hotels a great opportunity to save water and get recognized for their work. Increasing water efficiency helps hotels simultaneously save operating costs, meet corporate sustainability goals, and compete in the green hospitality marketplace. And as a reminder, incentives and technical assistance programs may be available from local water and energy utilities to help make the changes. So now before I open it up for questions, I just wanted to do one more poll to see if anyone is interested in providing a case study to the hotel challenge. We really love featuring people in case studies, and we try to do our best to talk about everything that our partners and our participants are doing. So if you have one, we would really love to feature you at some point, if not now, sometime later in the year as well. And if you think of one afterwards, you are more than welcome to contact our helpline. So that's all I have to cover right now, and I will now open the floor for questions on anything that I've discussed today.
So we had a question come in. Is the water use tool available for water utility partners too, or is it just participating hotels?
The water use tool is on our website, so it's available for everyone. The way that it's set up is really for a commercial or institutional facility to use. It's not really set up for utilities water efficiency. So if you want to use it, you can use it with any of the hotels that you want, and it will be all of it will be available after the challenge is over. We're not going to be taking anything off of the website for that.
We had another question. Can hotels and other building types be WaterSense certified as to their efficient use of water, similar to the Energy Star program?
Hotels and buildings currently can't be certified as WaterSense labeled buildings. We don't have the data that's necessary to create a certification program for commercial buildings. So we've been working with Energy Star to try to get more water information and to be able to build those benchmarks, but at this time we don't have enough. So that's why we ask if you have any data that you'd like to share, or if you put data into Portfolio Manager that helps us build those types of metrics and benchmarks so we can do certification later on. Someone also asked, can the WaterSense tools be run in the Macintosh operating system, or is it only for PCs? I think you just would need OpenOffice to be able to use the tools. All of them are created in Microsoft Word and Access, or they're PDFs, so you should be fine in using them on a Mac. And somebody else is asking if there is any way of coordinating EPA and the local utilities to implement the WaterSense program. We try to coordinate with our local utilities as much as possible. We have over 500 of them that are WaterSense partners. And, you know, we try to get in touch with them and give them the tools and information that they need to actually help hotels or help consumers. So, you know, if the local utility in your area isn't a partner, you know, we're more than happy to talk to them, or if you want to talk to them, we'd love that. You know, basically any utility can become a partner, and that can, you know, then they'd have access to a bunch of materials and all of our social media information and website information. Somebody's asking if we are going to be providing a PDF of the slides. Yes, we can provide a PDF of the slides. We're planning to post the recording of this presentation. It'll go up. You can access it from the EPA's WaterSense website. It'll be posted on Energy Star's YouTube channel for viewing later as well. And then someone else, okay, that was more helpful information. So I think that is it for questions. Does anybody else have anything else that they'd like to ask or add? You can unmute your line by pressing *6. Oh, #6. Oh, you have to type it into the chat box. Sorry. If you have any questions, you can type them into the chat box, or if you think of them later, you're welcome to contact the helpline, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can with the information. So I think that's probably it. We're going to show the information. So this is the information for the Hotel Challenge. This is the main Hotel Challenge landing page on our website, where you can find all of the tools and be helpful. for all of the hotels that, need the information. So you can also contact the WaterSense helpline if you have any questions, and look for the WaterSense label is the one that we usually use. Someone else asked a question if we might be able to start on a webinar for the individual hotel properties. Sometimes we are. I have done a couple of them for multiple, usually when there's multiple facilities for like a larger group, whether it's a regional group or a corporate chain, we can probably do that. We can get in touch to get some more information. So if you have any more questions, then you can contact the helpline. Otherwise, we'll get in touch with you if there are other things to follow up with. So thank you all, and have a great afternoon.